You're listening to Rod and Style Radio, the latest podcast brought to you by rodandstyle.com, which is where you can find links for merch, videos from our YouTube channel, along with stories and tech talk from some of the greatest folks in the culture. So grab the wheel, it's about to get wild. You've tuned in to Rod and Style.
No, I'm fine, dude. I'm easy. Like, I try not to get myself too, I get super stressed the fuck out when I can't find some toilet paper or when my toothpaste is too hard to squeeze out because I'm at the bottom. Like if the world breaks in half, I'm gonna be like, that's fine, I got this.
We're good.
I'm one of those weird fuckers that if I can't fix it, I try not to freak out about it. But if it's something that I can do or did wrong or some little dumb shit, oh my God, dude, you would think Godzilla just shit in the middle of the earth. I just get ridiculous. And it's like, really? This was the solution you thought? You just destroyed an entire thing because you did, okay, whatever. I'm not very smart. I mean, you guys have seen me. Look how pretty I am. You can't expect me to be smart, too.
No, come on. Come
exactly.
on now.
See there? He's all like, okay, you ain't pretty enough to be dumb. Come on now.
Hey,
that's usually what I say in traffic is like, when someone cuts me off, I'll be like, look, you ain't nearly pretty enough to be that stupid.
That I'm sure Sam's gonna use that at some point when driving a Buick.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be great.
Or if I'm pulling up, Sam, you'll like this. I'm pulling up, and there's some girl you can tell she's never been told no anything in her life, and she tries to pull out in front of me, and I'm just like, fuck you. I just keep going. I'm like, you ain't pretty enough to be cutting me off. My wife is way hotter than you, and I'm not letting you out in traffic.
No,
especially if they're rude.
That was most of the drivers in New York.
Jesus,
oh my God,
New York. Dude, I remember the first time I drove in New York, in Manhattan, and I was getting bumped into and shit. And my boy was with me. He's like, "Oh yeah, they just giving you kisses." And I'm like, "What do you mean giving me kisses?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "You see everybody got that black shit on their bumpers?" He said, "In New York, that's the best kisses you're gonna get is sitting in traffic."
That is for real. That was an eye opener for the two Texas folks that landed in New York and was like, "How are we going to drive through this?" And it's like, "We are not.
We ain't." That's just a simple answer. We ain't.
I just dealt. I mean, I had big ass steel bumpers and stuff. I'm like, all right, go ahead, scratch your car up. I ain't got no rubber on my shit. I'm from the country, bro. I got you. You going and tear that thing up? I felt like. It was just silly, but yeah, it was all right.
Where are you out of?
Right now, I'm in Kentucky. That's where I've been for the last 20 years.
Oh, nice. Where in Kentucky? Because we're going to be there at the end of the month.
In Louisville. We're going to be in Louisville.
What's going on? We got a show down here or something I forgot about?
Yep. Memorial Day weekend. We'll be up there for Beatersville.
Oh, fuck Beatersville, of course. I got to call these guys up and find out if I'm supposed to do something. I forget, man. I'm telling you right now, if my head wasn't screwed on, it would have fell off and I'd have lost it by now.
I say that all the time when I can't find shit.
Dude, oh my God. Well, then welcome to my world because I never can find shit. I have 3 diseases, CRS, CSS, and CFS. Can't see shit, can't remember shit, and can't find shit. That's what I got right now.
Oh my God.
You're the one that has the Post-it notes all over the house. Remember to brush your teeth.
I swear to God, I'm going to send you a picture. I got Post-it notes all over the front of my computer.
Yeah, I'm the same way at work.
People are like, it's a computer. You can put notes in there. I'm like, shut up. Sometimes I just don't want to have to fucking turn it on to remember something.
For real. Yeah, no.
And what if I forget my password? Now I forgot the fucking password and I can't find out what it wrote on that Post-it note. Yeah. I'm still pretty analog dude, but I'm learning to be, what was that? I'm just a living in a material world, but there's a new one. There's a funny one. It's like I'm just living in a computer world.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. And at my work, they keep updating all of the books that we work out of, because the government is lovely like that. And man, I can't find half the shit I knew everywhere. Everything I knew it was last week is all different this week. So yeah, I'm the same way. I'm constantly writing notes.
Yeah, I mean, it's the way I grew up. Like, I didn't have all this shit growing up,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, how'd you get into art? Like,
Well, are you guys recording? Because we should probably start, if we're recording, if we're going to be asking like questions, let's start recording some shit.
Yeah, we're rolling now.
We've been rolling.
So you've been getting all this dumb shit, huh?
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be like, this motherfucker's calling us out on our own show. We're like, okay, so first off, is the PC turned on?
Absolutely not. It hardly ever is.
Is it plugged in? All right, well, then we're good. So you just ask if how I got into art.
Yeah.
Well, I never got into it. It just was me, So, like, now that I have a kid, I finally solved one of my life's greatest mysteries. When little kids are learning, like when they're first becoming people, when there's little, snails that turn into people, you wave at them, right? You're like, oh, look at this cute little kid, and you're waving at them. Have you ever noticed how kids, like, they wave with their hand, like, facing themselves, you know what I mean? And they do their hand, like, it almost looks like they're grasping, but they're waving like you would, like a princess wave. Well, when I was a little kid, like, before we knew that that's just because the fucking kid is seeing you wave with the palm of your hand towards him, so he thinks the palm of his hand should be facing him, right? It's not, it's totally normal. Well, when my parents were, when I was born, they thought I was asking for a pencil.
Huh.
So I was like, maybe like months old, maybe less than a year or something, or maybe a year older-ish or whatever. I don't really know. I mean, my parents were, they're missing brain cells, all I gotta say.
They were present.
Present-ish. I would have been better off being raised by wolves, for sure. For sure, better off raised by wolves. And if one of the wolves was a pirate, it would even be better. But so they just thought they thought I didn't want to learn how to talk. So they thought I'm asking for something. And so they would hold things up. And of course, I'm still doing my hand. And they're like, oh, fucking, he wants a pencil. I don't know how he knows that, but he does. And so they would hand me a pencil. And they said I would take it and I would just stare at it, And then once I started figuring out, like, whatever, I don't know how old I was, but I would, like, scribble on things. And then I would look at you as an adult like, bro, look what I'm saying. You see this shit? I'm trying to tell you right now, I need some more Cheerios, whatever. I mean, of course, I wasn't talking, but I would draw something and I would look at them like, the dog looks at you when you eat and looks back, looks down, your thing like that. And
yep.
And they just thought I was trying to communicate that way. So my entire life I was told, oh, dude, you were communicating visually, like with a pencil or whatever, since way before you could even talk. And like, and they thought maybe that's why it took you so long to talk. And I was like, well, how the fuck old was I when I started talking? And they were like, we don't remember, but you never shut up since then. And they were like, we wish you would have kept doing that. And I'm like, I did. I still am doing the same shit. But yeah, it's just weird because now, with modern, parenting and shit, that they're just waving. They just don't know their hand's supposed to be turned, Well, I guess it doesn't really matter if it's turned the other way. It's still just a wave. But my parents messed up and, got me going in the right direction, I guess. I mean, like, literally, that's it. It's just that dumb. Like, having dumb teenage parents in the 60s, they're like, I don't know, bro. He's trying to get a pencil. Just give him one. It's like, okay, thanks, man. Right. But no, it's all I've ever done is just make stuff. Like, build things, draw things, engineer things, crash things, blow things up, just stuff. I've always been very hands-on with my life.
Did those skills, how did that do for you going through school and into careers and stuff, or have you always been able to make art a career?
No, that's all I've ever done. When I was a kid, like when you're a fucking kid, I mowed yards, and when I was like, I don't know, maybe like 12 or 13, I started thinking about trying to leave my house. Like, I wanted to move out because my dad was he was a pain in the ass. And, you know, I'm an ornery kid. I think I'm smarter than everyone else. You know, when I was a kid, there was this stupid little Xerox. It was probably not even a Xerox back then. It was probably whatever that other machine was. And on my dad's refrigerator, it said, "Attention teenager, get out now while you still know everything." You know, and I just always loved that. I'm going to find that and I'm going to put it up on my fridge when my kids get big. My kid gets bigger. But so when I was like 13, I was mowing yards, you know, after school and on the weekends to try to get money, trying to save money because I wanted to have money to buy a car and get like clothes back in those days, you know, like whatever. I think back then it was like I don't know, Panama Jack T-shirts and shit that all the stupid kids were wearing, you know, when I was a kid. It was a long time ago. You guys probably weren't even born yet.
I know Sama wasn't. I know.
Thanks. You just always got to throw that shit in there.
But, well, my wife is 15 years younger than me, so.
Hell yeah. That's the dynamic in our house.
Double-digit club.
Yeah.
There you go. Exactly. So when I was 13, I was mowing yards and shit, trying to save money, and I would go work at my Uncle Harold's welding shop. I would go work at my Uncle Billy's automotive shop or my stepdad's welding shop or, you know, whatever. My papa's a construction company or read water meters and shit. Anything I could do to try to make money. And so I was mowing yards, and then for my 13th birthday, I believe it was, I asked my dad if he'd get me some crawfish nets, because I was in Louisiana at the time. And he's like, "What are you going to do with those?" And I said, "Well, I know when I'm mowing the yard, the ground's vibrating, and I can always see all the crawfish and stuff in the ditches and the frogs and shit getting all rowdy. I'm going to put them in the ditch, and while I'm mowing the yard, it'll agitate them. They'll go looking for food because they're pissed off and hungry. I'll catch the crawfish, then I'll get paid for the yard, and I'll sell them a 5-gallon bucket full of crawfish at the end of mowing their yard." And, like, I've always just been a businessman. Or as Jay-Z says, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
I like
It's one of my favorite things because it's absolutely true, and I've always been that way. So my art is not an emotional endeavor. I don't need to be, like, emotionally turmoiled or whatever the fuck to draw stuff. Basically, I look at the world and I just think, fuck, I could draw a way cooler skull than that shithead. You know? And I just draw one. Or I think to myself, like, man, I wish there was a skull or a car or a thing that looked like this. And then I just draw it. You know, for me, you know, I think a lot of artists, their goal is to be like, you know, ultra famous, like, you know, whatever, in super museums and shit. And my goal was always just to make shit that I wanted that was cool and that would make a good sticker, a t-shirt, or a tattoo, maybe a skateboard or something like that. You know, I never tried to gear myself towards the blue collar, the blue chip art, more towards the blue collar art.
Yeah.
You know, because if I weren't drawing and shit, I would probably work at a bike shop or be a car mechanic or something. I mean, if I weren't creative, you know what I mean? Because
right.
My brain I have an engineering mathematical brain, which is very unusual for an artist. So I treat it like a business. I look at it like a business, and then my art is affected with it because my art is very, it's kind of stupid, but it's mechanically correct most of the time. So if I draw something, even all whacked out and stuff, if you built it, it would still work. In other words, like, you know, when you see these people who draw a motor and they've got what is effectively a block with a valve cover and sticking out of the valve cover, or some spark plugs, and then the exhaust is sticking out of the side of the valve cover, and the water pump doesn't exist. It's just one big wheel in the front, and then the distributor's like where the carburetor should be. You know what I mean? It's just
right.
Dumb shit. It's like, learn what the fuck you're drawing. Like, don't draw dumb shit. Like, if you're having fun, like if you're drawing a Mickey Mouse car, that's great. But if you're doing something that is remotely, you know, serious, it should be accurate. And so I'm pretty good at putting my own stank on accuracy. You know what I mean? Like, just taking accuracy and putting it through like a fisheye lens and, you know, and like some bullshit filter, and then it comes out of my hand as like some colorful stupidity, and it's fun, you know? And that's all it ever has been to me, is it's job and it's fun. Like, I'm not one of those people, you know. That sounded really weird, like I'm racist against other artists who want to be blue chip artists. It's like, I hate you guys. No, it's just not my gig, you know. I'd rather just make shit for Bob's car garage than, you know. I mean, I say that, and some asshole's going to be like, I'll give you $1 million for this painting. I'll be like, I'm rich now. Fuck all these blue collar people.
Right.
See, you only say shit like that when you're not that thing. You know, it's like rich people say, "Oh, money doesn't matter because they got plenty."
They got plenty of it. They
I
ain't
don't give a
worried
fuck about
it.
museums and shit. And it's like, that's because your ass ain't in a fucking museum. That's why you say that shit. Let a museum call and see how quick I start acting all fucking proper.
Right. Hey, we have been doing great doing these podcasts, and we have our own show, and then we started doing the show for Rod and Style. Yeah, if we could like have like just an empire of doing nothing but radio shows, yeah, we would probably do that.
Yeah. But you still got to act all punk rock till you get that big check.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We look totally different when we go to our day jobs. When we're out those day jobs, we wouldn't look like we have jobs.
That's the freaks come out at night is why they wrote that song right there.
That's exactly right.
I don't know, man. It's like, I mean, I joke a lot, but you know, I never thought of myself as being cool or special or anything like that. I'm lucky, you know, and that's one of my first, I call it a first impression or a first judgment, or when you first meet an artist or you start learning about an artist, you can always tell, you know, where they're at if they think they're actually special because they get to be an artist instead of being lucky. Because you're not fucking special because you get to wake up and be creative. You're lucky because your ass could be out in Siberia digging fucking holes.
That's
you know
facts.
what I mean? So, like, to me, that's the true place. And usually the people who think they're special, it's all based off pride. And I love crushing that shit because it's stupid. You know, it's just stupid. It's like, yeah, call me in 20 years, motherfucker. I've been there. I remember that day when I thought I was the baddest motherfucker in the valley. You know, you're not. Don't worry, and neither am I. So just get your shit together, quit being a titty baby, and come on. Quit believing all the shit you read about yourself. Don't drink your own Kool-Aid. Let's just be people, feel lucky, and appreciate shit, and keep on moving.
Yeah, and in the experience that we've had, you know, we do a lot of talking and a lot of, you know, we meet a lot of people, and you know, we love these episodes that we've been putting out recently, just talking to a lot of different people about how they came up in the world and, you know, what they're doing now with it. And through meeting so many people, you're absolutely right. The ones that do think that their shit doesn't stink, they typically don't have very many words to say, especially when they think that they're above you.
Or they fall
well, they
in
don't have
5-inch
anything to
heels.
offer. You know, once you think you know everything about something, you're no longer a productive part of that process.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to always consider the fact that there's more to learn about every process. And if you think you know everything, then you're no longer good. Like, you're not good for the process anymore. You need to take yourself out of it because you don't know everything. Like, no one can know everything.
No, absolutely.
You know, the last week of March, just a couple weeks ago, was or whatever, I guess 2 weeks ago, whatever it is, I don't know, was my 34-year anniversary as a professional artist. And I was 3 years before that, but I was, you know, I didn't pay taxes till I was 18 because that's how it was back in the day. I guess maybe it still is. But, you know, from starting at 15, I was making art for money. And that's it. That's all I've ever done. I mean, of course, I've done other dumb shit in between, like, you know, still had to work at my papa's shop or whatever like that, and, you know, things like that. But as far as a job, my living, my house, everything I have, all came from art.
Wow, that is amazing.
Even my wife, everything.
I was gonna say, yeah, your wife is also an artist. Do y'all do a lot of collaborations together, anything like that?
Not a ton. I mean, we have done quite a few, but we're both basically just like, you know, balls to the wall all the time. So we do try to make, you know, some art together. And when we do, I think it's usually exceptional. I feel like I really like what she does. Honestly, she is an amazingly talented human. You know, even if she wasn't my wife, I would still say that, and then I'd be like, "You got her phone number?" You know what I mean? But she's seriously just, I don't know, man. She's been a complete inspiration to me for October 20 years. She's been like absolutely the inspiration for my soul. And then not only that, but her art is absolutely masterfully skilled, beautiful, and very creative. You know, she's just a badass, and I'm lucky that I'm around her because it helps me to be better as a person, as an artist, all that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, that is awesome.
She's not sitting here right now either. I just said that because out of my own free will. I'm not tied up. I'm not roofied. I'm not none of those things. It's just the truth. I mean, and I think that if more people looked at their partners and actually looked at them and realized the value of them, you wouldn't have a bunch of assholes out here on the computer looking at Insta hoes and Insta dudes trying to find them a new person. It's like,
right.
Look around you, motherfucker. You probably the lucky one, and you the one out here think you deserve more, And I feel like I'm the lucky one, 90% of the time, I feel like I'm lucky to have, I have my family, I have her, we have our son, and we draw stupid shit, and we get paid, and we have a beautiful life. I can't be mad at that. I can't be mad at that at all.
Not one bit. How old is your son?
4.5.
4.5.
Going on 22.
No.
God damn, this kid's gonna be like a hostage negotiator or something, man. I'm telling you. This fucking kid, dude, he can talk you in or out of anything, and you can be mad at him, and he still can win. I'm like, you're gonna be a lawyer or something, dude. Holy shit. I feel like I'm in the Spanish Inquisition over here with this kid.
Well, I met my daughter when she was 2, and she is 6 now. She just celebrated her birthday. And, even being a stepdad, fatherhood has been absolutely awesome for me.
Oh, I thought you might have been in prison the first couple of years of her life or something.
That is not too far off.
He's not that cool. He's not that cool.
No, I'm not that cool either. I don't even have a criminal record. I'm a poser, dude.
I have one incident where I spent a night in a drunk tank, and it didn't even go on my record. So I don't have a criminal record either.
Well, now we all know. So, yeah. Thanks for letting us know. Now we got some smack to talk about you.
Yeah, exactly.
Surprisingly, we both don't have anything on that. So we're pretty clean.
I mean, it's pretty weird. Like, how can you be cool and you didn't even do a bunch of stupid shit? And I guess that means we're not as cool as we thought we were 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, no, I was typically the one
You guys should probably hang up and call someone cool real quick.
We just lost all credibility right now.
Exactly.
All my street cred is gone.
Dude, I don't even know if I have any.
Yeah, I'm good with it though, man. Because honestly, I did do a lot of stupid shit, and if I had gone up the river for any of it, it probably would have been for a good bit. So I'm glad that
I'm just glad they didn't have fucking internet and GoPro cameras and
everywhere.
cell phone cameras when I was growing up, because I was a jackass long before there was a jackass. That's for sure. I was a stupid, broken, probably mentally ill young man that was like, oh, I got to put my nuts in that meat grinder? That's fine. You somebody gonna watch? Because I'm going to show off. I was that stupid asshole.
Yeah.
I've always been kind of dumb, but it's kind of served me well, though,
Yeah, no, I'm really glad that a lot of the things that were done in my youth were not on camera.
That's how you were cool. That's how you were cool, though, because you never got caught.
That is facts.
Dude,
I was the one bailing
everything
them
is
out.
on camera now.
Oh, yeah, you can't drive down the highway without being on somebody's camera.
Dude, everything's on camera now, man. But, I don't know. I'm glad I was that stupid because, it just kind of taught me to realize that, I joke and say I'm too stupid to realize how hard life is. That's why I've never paid attention to what it thinks. I just do whatever the fuck I want. But the reality is life doesn't give a shit about your plans. It's going to keep throwing shit at you, whether you're ready or not. And so I just figure if I can kind of keep one leg up, then I keep life guessing a little bit, you know? So I've always just tried to just constantly do what I want and hope that it works, I'm not one of those plan everything out and think it's going to go perfectly people because, if we know anything about life, there's never been a good story that started with, well, everything went perfectly. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
Like, it's going to be good when someone's like, you motherfuckers are not going to believe this shit. You're like, oh, hang on. Let me get a chair. I need to sit down and hear this. If someone's like, hey guys, I got to tell you something, like everything went really well. You're going to be like, oh, fuck, I don't want to hear this shit. It's boring. Did anybody get an eye put out? Because if they didn't, I'm not sure I want to hear about it.
Try again.
Exactly. You obviously were not having any fun if nothing bad happened.
That's typically how all of the stories of us hauling cars home have started. It's like, you're not going to believe this.
Yeah.
It seems so simple. You put a fucking car on a trailer and you drive it. It is never that simple. Not ever, never, dude.
What was your first car?
My first car was a 74 Audi Fox that my mom was driving, and it caught on fire. And starting when I was 14, my stepdad and I rebuilt it. But the whole dash had melted out and everything. So it was like kind of half-ass put together, and you could see the motor through the dash or the engine through the dash. The hood was spray painted gray. And it was a little four-banger front-wheel drive car, two-door, and I had to tape plastic bags over the heater, like the heater coil intake, along the top of the right where the windshield wipers are. Right there. So water didn't pour down inside the car and shit. It was awesome. And then my next car was a '66 Fairlane with a 289. It was four-door. And it had the big bench seats, front and back. It was red interior, white exterior. And it had a Cruise-O-Matic. It had the automatic on the column, and it had a Cruise-O-Matic air conditioner that was mounted under the dash that was like, it looked like a window unit, basically. Yeah. It was mounted on the dash. I guess it was an add-on. And it was awesome, dude. It had I think it only had 350 or 3,500 miles maybe. It was real low. I remember that. I mean, it's been fucking 100 years. And it was so it had been sitting under a tree at this dude's house. He drove it every day, but he parked it on a tree. It was an old guy that worked with my dad. It was $350 is what it was. I don't remember how many miles it had.
Oh, man.
I mean, it was 350 in there somewhere. And so my dad got it for me. I had to save up the money, and he bought it for me, of course, with the money. And all the trim and everything was there, but it was all completely oxidized. And then the paint was all oxidized, so it was like sort of flat white gray color. So I remember calling my Uncle Billy, who had a paint shop, and asking what to do. He said, just get a Brillo pad and wash it. Don't get too crazy and wash it. And then what we'll do is we can put a new clear coat, or I can buff it out for you later, but just get all that stuff off the paint and off all the silver. And after I was finished, all the silver was all gleaming and shining, and the paint was flat white, like powder. And I took old markers and filled in all the little things in the trim again, because it had little black lines and shit in all the trim and all that stuff. And I just left it that way. And so it was like this sort of matte finish aluminum and steel trim with this flat white paint. And I had gone down to the used tire store and got two big-ass Eagle GTs, the biggest ones that would fit on the rims in the back. And it kind of dropped it down because they were low profile. Yeah. And this motherfucker, dude, I could have 6 teenagers in this thing and do fucking burnouts all day long, just fucking donuts. It was awesome. We spray painted the back 3 windows black so it would look cool. You couldn't see out of them and shit, dude. It was awesome. It was so terrible. We had, that was back in the day when you put 2 6x9s up in the back window. And then whoever's riding the back seat has to make sure they don't fly up and hit them in the back of the head. Dude, we used to have so much fun with that stupid car, man. And then it was just a collage of different cars ever since then. And right now, I'm driving probably my favorite car I've ever owned in my life, which is a 2004 Ford E350 van with the high top, so I can stand up in the back.
Oh,
and
shit!
It's a 5.4 liter. It's a big ass van. It's a super duty van. So it's got like 4,400 payload or something, and 78 towing, I think 7,800 towing. But dude, it's got 344,000 miles on it, and I would fight you back for it. I'm not getting rid of it. I love it. It's fucking amazing, dude. If no one's ever had a van that you can carry 2 motorcycles, 10 sheets of plywood, 3 people, and a couple of dogs all at the same time, you ain't living. I'm telling you right now, dude, this fucking thing, it's my favorite. I think it's literally the favorite thing I've ever owned. And it's huge. It's like driving a fucking 2-story building. But it is amazing. I love it. I mean, it looks like an undercover cop because I spray painted the wheels black, of course, and it's bright white. And I bought this, and it's all white. I say bright, it's all dingy white, but I got these, I ordered this kit for the front of a Jeep for like a legit, push bumper thing, for the front. Uh-huh. And I beveled it off and welded it to the front bumper. So I've got this big 3-piece thing, and I've got lights all over the front. It looks like a cross between a undercover cop and an undercover cop. You know what I mean? It's like fucking, I pull up somewhere, motherfuckers like, oh shit, put the weed up, bro. Put the weed. Oh shit. Oh, it's just that guy. Never mind.
Everybody just drives off. They're like, go, go, go.
You pull up in the parking lot, everyone's hands go down by their pocket, you know, and you see smoke, and you're like, bro, I'm not a cop. You can keep smoking your weed. It's fine.
I'm not gonna lie. When you started saying that you had spray painted the wheels, I swore you were gonna tell me that you spray painted the windows in that van.
Oh no, dude! I actually ended up going to like a parts place and getting doors with windows in them. So now the side doors and the back doors have windows, and then I put a window in the side, and we built a frame under the bottom and mounted a seat right behind the driver's seat, so the kid would have a place to sit, and put a big window on his side with a big vent and stuff. It's actually pretty legit van. It's real basic, but it's really cool. We built these cool storage cabinets on the inside on the bottom. And then I didn't have a bed, and so I'm not trying to be all van life and shit. But I do need a place to put shit. No, I had to need a place to put shit. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't just have fucking shit flying around. At first, the first year I had it, I just carried everything around. I had like 8 milk crates and a couple of them little fucking backpacker container plastic things. And I was like, this is a clusterfuck. I got to do something with this. So I built these 2 long boxes and it's perfect, man. I got fucking all kind of shit in there. Zombie apocalypse comes, I'm ready. They're gonna be like, God damn, the cops survived? Come on, man. You know?
Right,
it really does look like a movie cop van. It really does, man.
Right, from now on, that if there is a zombie apocalypse, that would be your code name, the cop.
That's it. It'll pop up on the screen with the cop, and they're like, "He's not a cop. He's an asshole who draws skulls, man." Like, yeah, but that's what he called himself one day. So we're sticking to.
Yep. Yeah. You heard it here, folks.
Exactly.
So you said you had like a 300 something freaking thousand miles on this fucking van. You've been driving it from coast to coast, like normally, or what?
Nah, dude. It came with a whole fucking bunch of miles on it, but I drive it everywhere. I do lots of mountain biking stuff. So I'm constantly looking for rowdy places to ride my mountain bike. So I'll drive all over. Dude, I'll pretty much drive halfway across the country to go and hurt myself on a mountain bike. Like, for sure. I'm kind of psychotic about it. But, you know, I've always been riding bikes, so it's the way it is. But that's what I built it for, is I just carry a bunch of mountain bikes and shit and go on adventures.
So what are you doing, like, as far as your art goes right now? Like, are you doing like commissioned art, or what have you got in the projects right now?
No, I don't really do I don't really do much in this commission stuff. I pretty much just do what I want and hope people like it, honestly. Probably 98.5% of what I do is just whatever the stupid shit I think up, and then try to talk people into buying it. You know what I mean? So I don't do much commission stuff. I just sent you some pictures for the little promo thing you'd asked about. But one of them is my new book cover. I'm literally picking up the proof. Well, it's actually the second proof because I'm stupid. And I got the first proof last week, and I realized I'd forgotten like 12 pieces of art. Because I'm stupid. I have no idea how I did it. Trust me. I look in the mirror and I know. And so I had to send the printer a new file, and he's like, "I'm going to murder you." And I'm like, "That's fine." My wife feels the same way every day, and somehow I'm still here. So so I'm picking up my new proof tomorrow. So it's a 116-page book. It's basically like 8.5 by 12 inches. Basically, it's a pretty big book. It's going to weigh about 2 pounds. It has mostly all brand new art, and what's not brand new are just things that haven't been in one of my full color books yet. So, and I only do I've only done a couple of full color books anyway. I don't really do them that often because it's a massive amount of money and it's a huge project. But for the last couple of months, I've been working on this, and so it should hit the streets. I'll probably do a book release next month or something like that. But tomorrow night, I don't know why I didn't think about this. I just did a new Clutch poster, and so I'm going up to Indy for the Clutch show, rock out, drop off some posters, and hang out with those guys, and probably some shenanigans, whatever.
Clutch. You literally did art for Clutch, and you're gonna go hang out with them.
I do. I've done a bunch of art for those dudes, man.
That is fucking cool as shit. How did you get on board with them?
Dude, I've done hundreds of rock posters. Do you even know who you're talking to over here?
I'm trying to get my listeners to know who I'm talking to.
No, I'm just fucking with you, dude. But no, man, I've been making rock posters for like 20 years, and or more than that, well, more than 20 years. Making rock posters for everyone. I mean, like my first rock poster, my first official poster was for Kid Rock, and then I've done everything from Snoop Dogg, Danzig, Wu-Tang,
Hey, Wu-Tang ain't nothing to fuck with.
I mean, exactly. I mean, I did the first screen printed poster, as far as I know, that Lil Wayne ever had. I've done Lucinda Williams. I mean, it's about anybody you can think of. Sheryl Crow all the way to Clutch, and I've done Lamb of God shit, and like whatever, anybody.
That is
actually, I didn't do Lamb of God posters. I did Lamb of God merch. But yeah, I mean, just everybody, man. I lots of posters, and so. I haven't been really doing very many over the last couple of years. I've been working on this giant project, which is our crazy house. I don't know if you guys know about that, but so this is the first gig poster I've done in a few years, and so I'm pretty stoked on it. And as far as the project, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just gonna say, where are you gonna be hanging out with Clutch at? Where's their show gonna be at?
Indianapolis.
Oh, okay.
At the Egyptian Room, or whatever it's called. I think some people call it something different, but it's Egyptian Room. And it's tomorrow night. And then I'll release the posters on my website the day after, what the portion of posters that I get to keep for myself. But yeah, I just said something about the house project, so people are gonna be like, "Bro, don't leave us hanging," So I basically, my wife and I bought a 9,000 square foot abandoned cabinet factory, literally abandoned, all the windows busted out, bullet holes, homeless people living in it. But there's actually a family of raccoons living in here too, literally. They were so cute, man. But like there was just bottles and needles and it was a disaster. It was in a really rough part of town, but if you want to buy some big abandoned shit, you got to go to the big abandoned part of town to find it. You know what I mean? They don't got 9,000 square foot warehouses that you can go buy in the suburbs. It's just
we
like,
have this nice abandoned shack just for you.
Exactly. And it's 9,000 square feet, the main building, and then it has a huge yard, which was all a giant parking lot. And our backyard is 60 by 300 feet. And that was all a big parking lot before. And so we had all that taken out. We have dirt and landscape. It's all beautiful. And it's like a little green space farm. We got chickens and all kind of shit back there. And then we bought the building next door to us, which is 6,000 square feet. It was 5,800 square feet.
Because 9 just wasn't enough.
Well, the 9 is ours. And that's where our studio and our house and our dog kennels and workshop and stuff are. So we wanted a building where we could have an art gallery and studio spaces for other artists and places to do classes. We want to do, free art classes for kids, and then, more advanced classes for continuing sort of education for artists that, say for instance, you're a painter or whatever, and you want to brush up on your drawing skills. You want to learn about pinstriping. You want to learn about airbrushing. You want to learn how to paint your fucking dog, in pop colors. We can have classes like that. And so we bought another building to do that with. And now here I am, one step away from giving blood to pay bills, but I'm joking. I'm not giving blood to pay bills. Fuck that shit. I'll be doing hand jobs on the corner or something.
You make more money.
You make a lot more money.
No. You know what would happen? I'll be like, hand jobs. They'd be like, look, I'll give you $20 to stop saying that. I'll be like, okay, $20, give it here. I'm just going to go be a male stripper, and they'll be paying me to put my clothes back on.
There you go.
They'll be like, you're the highest paid guy here. You don't even have to be naked. I'm like, exactly.
I'm that experienced. What's up?
Right. Yeah, no, that's definitely one of my favorites, is like, gas getting so expensive, I'm going to start sending out nude, selfies, and, it's $20 a picture and $30 to get me to stop.
Yeah, exactly. I tell people that about art when young artists ask me for advice. I tell them 2 things. Fucking commit 100%, no plan B. Because if you got a safety net, you're going to be careless.
Yeah.
And then second one is just keep fucking making art. If everyone tells you it sucks, tell them to fuck off and keep making it, because in some point in your life, I mean, you will be paid to keep making it or paid to stop. And I've never seen anyone be paid to stop making art.
I mean, you're dead on with it right there.
That's it. And you can make the dumbest shit. Like, dude, there are people out here that are a million times more talented than me. They can't pay their rent with art. And then there are people out there literally shooting paint out of their buttholes on the canvases, making 50 times what I'm making. So there's no way to know what's going to hit. You know, and as an artist, every artist listening to this right now, and every person who's ever made or built anything, including yourselves, will know. The day you walk out of your studio, your garage, thinking you just built the Mona Lisa or just painted your Mona Lisa and it's the greatest thing you've ever done, no one will give two fucks. But accidentally spill some paint and let it drip off and like on your dick and it shows up on your pants, you're getting 50 billion likes. You know what I mean? Yep. So it's like, you never know what's going to hit, man. And as soon as you think it's going to hit, it ain't going to hit. And, you know, I see this with cars. I see it with everything, man. People, they pour lives into something and then no one seems to give a shit. And then they trip over something, accidentally do something, and now they're famous. And you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah,
I mean, that's pretty much what happened with us. We had, originally we had another podcast before we did this one. And we were like, man, this is going to be big. It's going to be great. We're attached with great people. And then, like, maybe a month later, it fell through the shit. And we're like, well, fuck.
Exactly.
I was like, all right.
And then Chuck calls you and he's like, hey, I need, you know, some people to do this. And you're like, oh, my God, it sounds like a terrible idea. And here we are.
Yes.
You know?
Do it.
Yeah, and what's funny is, so Chuck, he calls us up and he's starting to introduce us to all of these wonderful people that we're, you know, getting on podcasts, and we find out that everybody knows Chuck by different names.
Laser.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard Adam say that. I thought that was funny.
You know, and it's just like, you know, we were like, man,
I'm going to say, you know what I'm going to say? I know it. I'm just going to make this up right now, and we're going to have to stick with it, okay? Peaches. That's what I know I'm as.
Peaches.
And then the one time Chuck was on our show and he went on about naming his car. What was it? Dreams or Fantasies or something. And we just like went on with it. His episode ended up being a train wreck forever. But I can't remember.
I'm going to remember
there you go.
I'm going to remember it later.
Yeah, no, it was hilarious, but you know, but we're having a blast with this podcast, and we, you know, we've just met so many fucking cool people. So, you know, I'm stoked with where we're at, and we didn't ever think that this would be where we're at. Sam is so hard trying to think. She can't think of what the name of his car was going to be.
Because it was very close to a stripper name, which is basically every name.
It's Glitter.
But it was something so stupid. I remember you wouldn't shut up about it. Fuck, you know, it's going to get me.
Poor Chuck. Right now, he's like, come on, guys, don't pick on me.
You're messing up my show.
Actually, he's like, I don't care, bro. I'm like Madonna. No press is bad press.
Exactly.
I think she said that. I might have just quoted the wrong pop star, but somebody said that.
Somebody said it. We'll say it was her.
Or something like that. Yeah, why not? Okay. We already quoted Cyndi Lauper on here, so let's keep going. What else we got? What other cheesy pop star bullshit can we quote on here?
I love it.
No, man, like, I don't know. I just trying to have fun and, you know, do my thing, and I don't know, I ain't cool, so I try not to kid myself, and I just try to keep making things that, you know, I try to keep growing as an artist, you know?
No, I really love I really love your outlook on how, you know, you've done everything and how you're trying to push that to the next generations of people and give back. I love the idea of you opening up a studio and doing free art classes for kids, and you know, that is just absolutely cool, man. Really dig that. What's your plan with it as far as when that might be
we already do it.
Oh, okay.
Well, what we did is our grand opening was 2 weeks before COVID shut down everything.
One of those stories.
So we basically had to sit on the gallery for a couple years. Basically, we couldn't really do much, but we did get renters into the studio spaces, you know.
Uh-huh.
And then we did a few little things here and there, but we're basically gearing up right now to do a bunch of shows throughout the summer and into the fall. Sarah and I are both releasing new books this year. I'll probably have this full color book that I'm releasing like within the next few weeks or next month or so. And then I'll probably take all the art from it and do a line art book. You know, we call them coloring books, but like just a glorified line art book, a glorified coloring book, I guess I should say. And then I'll probably do a release on that. And what I do in between is I'll make a bunch of paintings and stuff and new posters and everything to hang, you know, for the show. And then Sarah's doing the same thing. She's been doing a series of drawings and paintings for a new book. And then we'll do a show like that. And then we have a local artist who put together a big group art book. And so he's going to do the show over there. And so we'll have a bunch of different art in there. It's really cool. We have it's a beautiful gallery. I mean, not because we built it. It's a beautiful gallery. And it's kind of crazy, you know, just I'm one of those people that I say some dumb shit. And unfortunately for me, I hold myself to it. So I actually end up having to do it. You know, like, God damn, why did I say this shit? Please watch my mouth, man. What am I getting into over here? But I really do. Like, I try to always be honest with myself. And so if I say I'm going to do something, I just fucking try to do it. You know, sometimes I fail, sometimes I don't. So it's how it goes, you know. But to me, when you look in the mirror and you say you're going to do something to yourself and you don't, man, what a bummer. And like, what does that do to your confidence and to who you are, you know, emotionally to yourself? You know, like I heard something recently that really, it meant a lot to me because I say things that are kind of like this to people and I've never really been able to put it, you know, to articulate it quite this well. And it was that the voice inside of your head is the person who talks to you the way they think of you. You know what I mean? So if you're condescending and you're a fucking cockhole to yourself, then that's the way what you're telling your brain you think of yourself. And so it's going to act accordingly.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, think about when you see someone that you actually don't like. You feel this sort of boiling thing inside of you. You're like, fuck that guy. You know, I don't want to see this girl. I don't want to see this person. Like, they're not good people. They're not my people. Well, if you're telling yourself that shit, you know, and I think a lot of people really, you know, people like to be cool and be like, oh, bro, I don't need to fucking say. People talk shit to themselves, man, in their own mind and in their own hearts. And that shit is bad. It breaks people down. And I you know, you don't got to be all cocky and shit, walking around like your shit don't stink, but you got to believe in what you're doing, and you got to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself and realize, you know, like, look, I mean, I may not be as pretty as Brad Pitt, but that motherfucker probably can't design you a house, build the house for you, put paintings in the house, and then build you a kitchen in that same house. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, so fuck him. I'm me. I'm prettier in other ways. And I think that people just need to start, their internal dialogue needs to be a little bit more supportive and a little bit less fucking Instagram. You know what I mean? Because people are starting to think to themselves the same way that they treat other people online where there's no ramifications. You know, you say that shit to my face, I'll come to your house and punch you in the fucking mouth. But you say that same shit to yourself. And artists are really, really bad at, you know, self-deprecating humor and shit like that. But once that shit starts sinking in, you might start believing it. So be careful, you know, busting your own balls. I like to joke around and bust my balls a little bit, but it is just humor. Like, I know me, and I think that more people just need to take the time to know them. You know what I mean? No,
you're absolutely right. You know, in talking with you, your attitude towards what you do is a lot different and more positive and humorous, of course. But
it's realistic, man. That's what it's. Exactly. I appreciate that, but it's just realistic. Like, you know, how can you go through life and not be honest with yourself and look at the world around you and not bullshit yourself? If you bullshit yourself, all you're doing is letting yourself down, you know?
No, you're absolutely right. And you know, art kind of gets a stigma. At least it did in like the 90s when everybody was a sad artist and always just, you know, depressed all the time. And, you know, they're making...
Fuck that, dude. In the 90s, I was rolling, dude. I didn't give a shit.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. I really commend you for that.
No, man, you just have to be honest with yourself. And I think that most artists, and unfortunately, hopefully I'm not prophetic with this, but I think you're going to find that a lot of the artists that you have spoken to or that you will talk to, they kind of believe their own hype, and that's sad because it prevents growth. Because if you start believing that you're all of these things, then your brain will tell you you don't have any reason to get better. What you've done is good enough, and you'll stick to it. And that's why you see these people who, they're hard workers and they're really, truly engaged. They're swimming upstream, and then they get a break. And then you notice that they keep making the same fucking thing, and everyone's getting bored of it, and they just keep regurgitating the same thing. And it's because they felt like they finally made it and they didn't need to grow anymore. Mm-hmm. And if you there's a rule in the universe. You're either growing or dying. There's really no in between. Nothing stays the same.
Right.
So you need to continue growing. And if you're not growing, you're regressing. You're dying.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right.
And most people kill themselves that way because they start believing that they've gotten as far as they can get. And I've never been a person who thinks people are afraid of failure. I think people are afraid of success. Anyone can fail. Everyone can fail, and everyone should fail. It's really good for you. It teaches you how to actually deal with things. But if you succeed, now there's an expectation that you're going to have to continue succeeding, and most people aren't sure that they have number 2 and number 3 and number 4 and number 5 in that series, that linear growth pattern, to be successful for a long time. And I never felt that way. I've always felt like I just don't have enough time to get all this crazy shit out of my head. And, that's why when a young artist comes at me all cockstrong with his fucking chest poking out, I just laugh and say, yo, man, hit me up in 20 years, man. I say 10 because the reality is 99.9999999% of motherfuckers that call themselves an artist, they're not an artist. They're a day job with a hobby. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're going to call yourself a professional artist and you are paying your bills with someone else's money, like a regular job, it's really difficult for me to sit there and be condescended to by you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not even in the fight yet. You're still sitting beside the ring, and you're a backseat driver, or whatever metaphor you want to use there. And it's like, bro, let me know when you've been driving for a while. Right. And then we'll talk. And it's not, I don't mean it to be mean or condescending. It's just a reality check. It's like, dude, you have no idea the road you have ahead of you. Just because you started off with a bang, so do these fireworks. And guess what? They only last a couple of seconds.
Yep, exactly. I was just going to get to that too, is like a lot of these folks that they come up real fast, real hard, and then like in a year, they're, you don't even remember what their name was or why you worked for them.
Well, people don't remember that they're lucky.
Yes.
Creativity is just a series of happy accidents. No one, as far as I can see, or have ever heard, no one has ever sat down at their desk and said, all right, today I'm drawing the best piece of art I will ever draw in my life.
It's going to be the worst thing you've ever made.
Yeah. You sit down and you start something. And if you're sensitive to your work, or I don't know if sensitive is the right word, if you're paying attention to what you're doing and you're honest with yourself, sometimes the line you think should be the right line is the absolutely wrong line. Look at what you're doing and let it be part of the process. Like I'll start, when you see these people on the internet and they're just drawing exactly perfect. They're not drawing exactly perfect. They plan that shit out. That's just not how it works. It's just not. You sketch a little bit, you try to figure things, you have to develop things. And as you're developing those things, you're going to run into accidents. You're going to be like, oh, fuck, that was supposed to be over here, or that's supposed to be this size, or that's supposed to be round and it's kind of wonky looking. Well, I allow those things in because, accidental greatness is what makes art work. Other than that, it's simply documentation. You know what I mean? Like, without magic, without that little magical spark of like allowing the work to be part of itself, nothing's going to happen. You're just going to make a bunch of boring shit, And I know that. Like, I'm not a genius behind any of this. I'm just a guy who's lucky enough to have a couple of skills and smart enough to realize when that skill is better than I am. You know what I mean? And I can let it follow. I'll follow its lead. And I say like when I'm trying to do a lesson on this, I tell people to draw a skull. You got 2 minutes to draw the skull. And so they do a little scrabble real quick, everyone. And you walk around and you're kind of looking, everyone's showing each other and laughing because they're usually bad, because it's 2 minutes and most people aren't ready. And, but you can see where people missed it. You can see there's lines on that paper. If they had gone on that line, it would be a completely different thing. And that's what I try to show people. I'm like, just be loose, have fun, no erasers, just 2 minutes, rock and roll, let it rip, we'll look at them. And so then what I do is I'll take someone's drawing and I'll say, okay, check it out. This is a rad piece. Everyone agrees it looks cool, right? Well, watch this. And then I'll take and I'll follow some separate lines that are on their paper that they could have chosen. And it changes the entire dynamic of it. And it's like, you had it. The magic was on there. You just stuck to the idea and didn't allow yourself to have accidental greatness. And and that's usually followed, or that usually is the first sort of lesson type thing. But another thing I'd like to say to people, and I say this when I'm doing in-person talks, but I don't know if I've ever said this on a podcast, is that if you start your creative process with Google, you've just eliminated 90% of the creativity. And here's why I say that. Google is creativity killer because of this. If 10 people around the world go on Google and they type in 57 Chevy, it's going to give all 10 of us pretty much the same top 10 results, right? So it's going to give us the ones that have gotten the most traction, the best pictures of 57 Chevy, right?
Right.
Well, if we start there, now we're all starting in the same spot. There's no one jumped off with magic. But what I tell people is always sketch and flesh out your idea as far as you can before you look at reference. Like if you think I'm going to draw a 57 Chevy or I'm going to draw anything, I'm going to draw a fucking tree, right? Don't go outside and look at a tree first. Draw the tree that you see in your mind, because what that does is you're drawing the feeling of that tree or the feeling of that car, and you're going to miss some details. You're going to have the wrong grill or the wrong bumper or the wrong, mirrors or the wrong whatever for the car, but maybe it's cooler. So then when you go to look it up and make sure that at least you have some accuracy, you can then decide whether or not to edit that creativity or that mistake, which now looks creative because compared to the regular one's going to be boring. You know what I mean? Because you already knew that's what it's going to look like. And so I tell people all the time, get your idea out first. Do everything that you feel is the creative idea that you have in your mind first. Even if it's completely wrong, at least you have that sort of unadulterated creativity before you go out and start weighing it and comparing it to real life. And it's like, unless of course you're a hyper realist and you want to do things photorealistic and all that, that's then fucking go on Google and then I'll just see the same shit I could have seen if I looked on Google. But
right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like I think people look at creativity kind of in the wrong way a lot of times. I think they think that what they got to do is find this perfect reference and then take that reference and manipulate it. And it's like, no, actually, you just killed most chances of creativity because now you're just simply manipulating something that's already there instead of creating something and then simply making a few little adjustments if you feel like that accuracy is important to the integrity of the design. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. No, I talk a lot. I'm sorry. I don't breathe very much.
No, that's awesome. We love when guests actually talk, and
it's not pulling teeth.
It's not pulling teeth to get an interview in. It's great.
Fun fact: I remembered what Chuck wanted to call his car.
What? Oh, let's hear it.
It was Reflections. He wanted it.
Reflections?
Yeah, it sounds like a strip club.
He was like, I want this car to be painted so cool that you can see it. He's like, I'm going to call it Reflections. I was like, that sounds like a strip joint. And I'm going to go in there and Diamond and Pearl are going to come out here. And they're going to come dance around fucking Reflections. And ever since then, we can't let it go.
Yeah.
No. Dude, that is really, I love it. That's fucking hilarious. I think tell him I'll make a show sign. I'll paint him up a show sign that says Reflections.
Oh, I love this. I love where all of this is going now. Yeah, no, he said he was going to build the entire car. He was going to build the entire car because he found a mirror at a swap meet.
Yeah.
And it was like the reflection in that mirror made him this idea he was going to build the car. Chuck, we are going to get this built for you, and there will be a sign that says Reflections.
Well, you know what? This is one thing I'm gonna give him some love right here. When you believe the dumb shit that's in your head enough to do it, you are my kind of people. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I love a motherfucker that comes up with some dumb shit and then does it. Whether everyone's telling you like, that ain't gonna work, that's dumb, whatever. And you're like, I don't give a fuck. I gotta at least try.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
And it's like, and to me, that's the most important thing about being honest with yourself, is if you can say something and then go do it against what everyone else says, then you're being straight with yourself. You know what I mean? And it's pretty rare, believe it or not, you know? And those are the people that we see standing out, and you're like, whoa, that dude's crazy. I want to be more like that. But what you don't realize is he was just dumb enough to believe the dumb shit that came into his mind.
Exactly.
And then go do it. That's it. It's not special. There's nothing special about what we do. We just are dumb enough to believe we can do this stupid shit. That's it. Like, that's literally, that should be the definition of creativity. You are not smart or special. You're just dumb enough to believe the shit's in your head. Go, baby, go.
There it is.
You know what I mean? Like, that's it. It's like, and that's all it really is. And, you know, and I'm kind of evangelical about it. I want people to stop drinking their own fucking Kool-Aid and start making some badass shit. You know, challenge me. Let's do this. I want you to be better than me because I want to have to grow. You know, I don't ever want to be the baddest motherfucker in the room. That's boring. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, and you have to go home and realize that you don't have anything else to do now because you've done everything.
There's no challenge, you know?
Yep.
And I try to always surround myself with artists and people that are better people or better artists than me. And it's just because I want to grow. Like, I'm not trying to take anything from them, you know? And as a matter of fact, I'll give you everything I know. Like, I even make my own fucking paintbrush. Well, with Mac Brush, we make our own paintbrushes because I made new paintbrushes. You know, we have 6 sets out now, I think 5 or 6 sets now.
Wow.
And yeah, it's all through macbrush.com. A little plug, but they're good. And people that are listening are going to be artists and automotive painters and shit like that, and helmet painters, that they can use these brushes. They're really good, and they probably already know about Mac brushes anyway.
Of course,
but
yeah.
I'm that guy. Like, if you walk up to my table and you're like, hey, man, what kind of brushes are those? I'm like, well, okay, 2 things. 1, the brushes aren't where the magic's at. The brushes are just a tool. And 2, you can have these brushes if you think that's where it's at. Go home, realize that the magic is not in the brushes, and then call me and I'll talk to you about how to use them. You know what I mean?
Go.
It's like, so what I do is I'll literally just hand people brushes. I'll clean it out and hand it right to them. I don't care, because I'll just get another one out of the box. I don't care what I'm using, because it's not the tool always. It's the hand, but the tool helps interpret the hand really well. And if you build a good brush or a good pen or a good whatever, or a good tool of any kind, it's going to really help to convey the motion and the idea that the hand is trying to communicate, right? And so we made these brushes, and you know, one of the funniest questions I get asked all the time, it's like, man, if you design all these special brushes to do all this special shit, why don't you keep it for yourself? Like why would you give it to everyone else and everyone has the same shit you do? And I'm like, because there are plenty of people that are better than me, and if I can see them do something with this brush, then maybe I can learn something from them and do it myself. It's like when you're a kid. There's always a ditch in your neighborhood that everyone wanted to jump on their bikes, and everyone thought it was impossible till one kid did it. Then everyone was like, oh, that's fucking easy. And everyone jumps the fucking ditch. Yep. Right? It's the same thing. It's like, I have these ideas, and I'm like, man, this is virtually impossible. And then I see someone else making something, and I'm like, nothing's impossible, man. It's just whether or not you believe in your dumb idea enough to make it happen. And like, I have an art project going. It's a secret project. That's something I've been working on for a couple of years. And when I decided to do this, I had to literally invent my own art tools. They don't even have fucking art tools to do this. And I was like, really? This is the shit I come up with. I couldn't just come up with some easy shit.
Of course not.
But I heard a really interesting theory about, I'll try to make this quick. I know we're probably running out of time, and I talk like a fucking...
We are never running out of time.
Oh, no. Time is of no essence to us.
So I was watching the thing. I'm really interested in abstract art and, like, you know, fine art stuff, like all the weird shit. Like, I'm really interested in where abstract art came from, and like things like, you know, from everything from Mondrian to like Picasso's, you know, all of his different things that he did, to like, I mean, any number of these people. I mean, I could name off a million people, like, but I'm really interested in why that matters. Because the first thing most people do when they look at modern art or you know, abstract art is they say, oh, my 4-year-old could have done that. And it's like, well, maybe in context of 2022, maybe so. But what did that mean in 1926? You know what I mean?
Right.
When all this, or 23 or whenever it was, whenever the Russian guy created the black square when he painted the black square on a white canvas. And that in most people's minds, I think they consider that the birth of abstract art, right? Well, there was other people doing shit, but that one kind of got attention, right?
Sure.
So there's this theory, and I didn't make this theory up. I'm trying to repeat it as well as I can. Basically, it's kind of considered like the reason there are so many other subgenres of art, like when pop art came out and like all the industrial arts, like Duchamp and all those guys that like signed urinals and put like, bicycle wheels in galleries and shit like that, and now the theory that I heard, and this may be completely wrong, but I liked it. So I kind of took it into my mind, was that there are only two classes of art, and that is, fine art, which has no meaning, no reason, no use, right? It's not made to to promote a product. It's not made to create anything. It's just a thing, right? And then there are commercial arts or industrial arts or illustrative arts, whatever you want to call it. And all of those things were originally sort of penned for a purpose. Like I'm drawing a logo for a business. I'm making a design for a skateboard. I'm designing a car. I'm designing a building. You know what I mean? They're more constructivist type things. You're not breaking anything down emotionally or intellectually. You're sort of rendering and making these things, right? Even if they're cool and interesting, you're putting your stank on it. But there's this line between those two things where you can't have abstract, commercial art. You can't have commercial abstract art kind of thing. It's just a funny like debate that goes in the art world. And I may have it all mixed up, but I was listening to this. It was like a TED talk or one of those types of things. And I thought, that's really interesting. And they said that what Warhol did and a bunch of these guys did is they were trying to cross that line. They were trying to make the industrial arts or commercial arts into fine arts. They were trying to get into that category by getting them into museums and things like that, right? And Warhol and a few of these other guys really did a great job of that. And so the idea was that sort of there's this underlying rule that you can't have both. You can only have one or the other. And so the theory came down to, it was sort of distilled down to the black line versus the black square. And black line representing when you're outlining and drawing things, right? And then the black square has nothing. It's just literally just a black square on a canvas. It doesn't mean anything. It wasn't created for any other reason than just because it just fucking needed to exist, I guess, right? So there's this theory. So I decided to approach that just sort of in my mind, because I'm very mathematical. And I was like, okay, this is just an equation. There's a solution to this, and someone's got to know about it. So I started asking other like highbrow art guys and girls and art dealers and museum people that I just kind of would bump into. I always have this dumb question like, hey, what do you think about this sort of equation, this conundrum that is you can't really have commercial art and fine art at the same time, or abstract art, not fine art. Sorry, I said fine art, abstract art. So abstract art is non-representational. Illustrative arts are representational. And they're always like, well, yeah, people have been trying to figure that out for years. There's no real way around it because it's either one or the other. It's kind of either one or the other. And I always thought that was interesting. So I set myself to solving this issue, and I did. So I've been building this show for a couple of years, and hopefully I'll be able to. I know this is a bunch of fucking buildup for nothing, but I've been resolving that. I've been trying to solve that issue, and I think I solved it because I came at it from a mechanical point of view. I came at it as a mathematical point of view, and not as a purely creative endeavor or how to trick the system. I literally took the equation for 1 + 1 = 1. You know what I mean? It's not 2, because 2 means there's still two different things. I needed to add up 1 + 1 = 1. And so it was kind of a fun thing. It's like when someone tells you something's impossible and then you think you have a solution and you try, a dozen solutions, and then you find what actually might be a viable solution. So I'm working on it, and I know this is a teaser, but eventually I'll have the show out, and it's going to be probably nothing like what you're expecting or thinking, but I plan on having a 100% abstract art show that is made of 100% illustrative arts. I know that's 200%, but I and that's the thing I had to make my own tools for, is this project. So I'm always up to some kind of shenanigans, man. And I know I just went on a long rant about all that. You're welcome to just delete all that shit. But
no,
absolutely
that's the way I look at it. Is like, you have to constantly be growing and figuring shit out. You know, and this thing I've been talking about, it may be a complete fucking failure. Like I was talking about the Mona Lisa earlier. You know, when you think you've done something and no one may care. But I wanted to do it, and I told myself I was going to figure this out. And I did.
I mean,
you guys will get to see it eventually.
That's the whole point of it, is the fact that you said you gotta believe in your own shit. You gotta believe that what's in your mind is what's gonna happen, and make it happen. So,
and then also be willing to make adjustments as you go along. You know what I mean? Like, that's the other thing, is pride can't get in the way.
Exactly.
Like once you decide something, you get on the track to it, but sometimes you have to take a detour or, you know, something like that. But people have to just remember to stay on the fucking case, man, till you figure it out. And I love doing that. And my art is just an exploration of interpreting the world and then regurgitating it through my hand and the way I see it. And it's basically, I'm really fortunate that my 2 cents seems to appeal to people. But if no one liked it, I would still be doing the same dumb shit.
You know, for someone saying that he's crazy and he's dumb the whole 30 minutes, the first 30 minutes of the show, just hearing you speak about art and all the knowledge you know about it, like, it's opening a lot of, like, I have like 50 million thoughts in my head now, and I'm like, I never thought about these things. Like, you're very knowledgeable about art, and that's things that I love to hear. This is why I love what we do, because I get to learn things from someone who, you know, who's been doing it for so many years and has a passion for it, and it's not just a hobby and a job. And it's just really interesting to hear how you see things and how it's affected you, and, you know, how you've met your wife and how y'all have made this amazing, you know, how you bought this giant place and y'all are going to teach kids and you're going to teach people. Like, that's fucking amazing.
Well, I appreciate that, and I truly do, and I mean, it's very humbling to hear you say that, but at the same time, it's just still some of my dumb ideas. Like, I just come up with this shit and then I go do it. So that's all it is. It literally is just me believing the dumb shit that's in my head, man. And it's, I think it's really more important than people think. And I hope that anyone who listens to this, you know, obviously they're going to realize that I'm, you know, a little mental, but at the same time, I hope they go away and go look at themselves in the mirror and, you know, ask themselves, like, who do I think I am? You know, and what the fuck is going on in my mind? And why am I not paying attention to it more? You know, and I hope that that's the takeaway, is that people fucking go and be real with themselves and start making more cool shit, you know?
You'd said something earlier that you were talking about, you know, when you talk to people that, you know, are artists, or you're getting, you know, people are getting into it, and you said that you believe that, you know, if you're going to do this, you need to be 100% into it with no backup plans, no safety net or anything like that. And I think that's extremely important. I've heard several analogies that go along with that train of thought. And I think you're dead on with it. I mean, people who have a backup plan, they don't go full board with what they're going to do, because it's like, well, I can fail and just go back to my day job. And, you know, I think you're absolutely right with that. You know, if you're going to do something creative, you have to be 100% into it, or just don't get into it at all. If you think that it's going to fail, then it's going to fail.
It already failed at that point.
Yeah. Well, you failed yourself because you've given yourself an out. Yep. You've allowed yourself to have an excuse whenever you don't like it. When you feel uncomfortable, you have an excuse instead of, I need to fucking tie my shoes a little tighter and pull my underwear up. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
And you know what I mean? Like, when you don't have another choice, you don't have a fucking other choice. You know, it's just that simple. But if you got other choices, then there's a good chance you're going to continue feeling like you have other choices, and there's no real reason to fully commit. And it's unbelievable how simple and silly that sounds, but it is the most powerful thing that can happen to you. Well, it's funny. It's like the day, you know, these people say if is the smallest word in the dictionary, but it's one of the most powerful. Yep. It's that dumb little idea that's like, you know, just fully committing to something changes every fucking aspect of it. Everything. It changes the way you look at it, the way you think about it, the way you feel about it, and how important it is, you know?
And if somebody's listening to this still hasn't like grasped that, there's a really simple analogy that sums all of that up, and it's hang gliding. If if you're going to go hang gliding and you've decided you're going to do this, you have to run at full speed off the side of a mountain and jump.
There's no fucking safety rope.
Yeah, because if you
stop,
if you double step at the last minute and decide, I don't think I want to do this, well,
you're dead.
You're gonna fall off the side of that mountain, and you're done.
Yeah, and that's it. It truly is just that stupid and simple. And I think that's something that people do is they try to and I'm an overthinker. I overthink the fuck out of everything. But life isn't complicated. Life is definitely a pain in the ass, and no one gets out alive, but it's not complicated. And there are people who can be like, yeah, motherfucker, you don't know me. It's not fucking complicated. The shit you do complicates it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's not, the universe isn't trying to find you so it can punch you in the balls. You go sit in front of the universe with your balls out and then get mad when it punches you in the balls. You know what I mean? The universe don't give a fuck about us. Like, I love these people who think the whole world's against them. They're like, you are not that fucking important.
Nope.
Go look in the mirror because you don't know who you are. Like if you think the universe is out to get you, then motherfucker, then I can't even be your friend because you are way too important for me. You know what I mean? It's like the universe don't give a fuck about you. You're just another asshole that it's got to deal with,
Folks listening to Rod and Style Radio, you did not think that you were going to get an education today.
They gave you one, whether you wanted it or not.
But no, absolutely wonderful conversations rolling out. And, it was an absolute blessing to have you on the show, man. I appreciate you giving your time and talking with us. And, your insights have absolutely been, just phenomenal. I really love this episode. I hope all of our listeners out there will as well. Is there, you want to leave any plugs?
Where to find you?
Let
how
people
to find
know
your work?
where to find your art.
You can always find my art on my website, which is humantree.com, just like it sounds, a person and a tree. Human tree. And then my Instagram thing is Artboy Tidwell, and on Facebook it's just a while back Facebook made everybody make a fucking business page or some shit. It was so dumb. Mm-hmm. So I have a couple Facebook pages, but just go to my regular Jeral Tidwell page and just fucking send me a message or something if you want to know anything. Don't go to the artist page because I fucking don't ever go over there. It's weird. There's even like a Tidwell collectors group, and there's all kind of shit. For some reason, people think that what I do is I don't know, it's more important than it is. But thank God for bad taste. That's all I gotta say.
If Instagram didn't automatically share our stuff to Facebook, we probably wouldn't even be on our Facebook.
Yeah, no.
Dude, I'm like, I really, and I hate to sound like a broken record because everyone says the same shit, but man, if it wasn't for business, I wouldn't have any of that shit. None 100%. Of it.
Yep.
Like, oh my God, if I didn't have to do business on the interwebs, man, it's just, I mean, especially with all of the political unrest and all the other things that are going on. And I understand it's serious and it's very powerful things and people need to talk about it. But God damn, can anybody be nice online anymore? It's like, fuck, man.
No.
Like people just so angry at everyone, including themselves, a lot of people, I think. And that's sad, man. And all this shit we've been talking about that internal dialogue and all the way you look at yourself in the mirror and the things you say to yourself. I really wish that everyone did that, not just creatives. I wish people would just look in the mirror and realize, like, these people that you're out here screaming at, man, they're just people just like you. Maybe they're wrong. Maybe you're wrong. I mean, who knows? Time will tell. History often illuminates, the truth, whether people want to accept it or not. And I think there's a lot of people who are really, really, really fucking fighting hard to keep the truth hidden and in a lot of things and their feelings and the way, and I'm not talking about like conspiracy. I'm talking about like people themselves. They're trying to suppress something that they know is right, but it's cooler to do this other thing, and they get more followers and more likes and more, they get more traction, and it's like, just fucking be a good person, man. God damn.
You know, if there was no other lesson that you got out of today's podcast, just be a good person.
Don't be a dick.
Dude, I was about to say, we were traveling recently and we stopped at this cool little shop in Hot Springs, Tennessee. Yeah, Hot Springs, Tennessee. Or was it Hot Springs, North Carolina? Anyway, we were coming back from North Carolina through Tennessee, and it was right there somewhere. It was really amazing, beautiful place. I feel like an idiot because I feel like it was North Carolina, but we were also going through Tennessee, so fuck knows. But it was really cool, and I bought a sticker, and it was a rainbow, and it said, "Don't be a dick," and I can't wait for them to check. And I just thought it was the coolest thing, and it's just like, the only, you know, and here I am, of course, saying how cool it is, and then I was critiquing it, like, the word should be bigger. I want it to be fucking bold. I want it to be like a foot wide, you know. But you know, and don't be fake to you or anyone else. You know, that's the caveat. Is you can be fake to other people and be, you know, and think you're being real to yourself, and you're not. If you're being fake, you're being fake to everyone, including yourself. So stop doing that.
Absolutely. Jeral, I think, again, we thank you for being on the show. It's been an absolute
You guys
pleasure.
are cool as hell, man. I love it. It was really fun, and I'm glad you guys put up with my shit. And, you know, I truly appreciate that people want to hear the dumb shit I say, but I just always hope that, you know, that literally, I hope that one person walks away from this. None of that's kind of cliche, but if one fucking person walks away from this better, then we accomplished something amazing that most people will never accomplish. You know, affecting someone in a positive way, you know. And that's how I look at it. Anytime I'm on a podcast or I go do a talk, if only one person even catches a sentence or two that it means something to them, it was worth it. It's good. I'm good. You know, I don't got to be important and be fucking touching everybody's lives, you know. Just one or two. That'd be awesome.
There you go. There you go.
And you guys have been awesome, and I really appreciate the platform. I appreciate you guys having me. And, you know, again, man, it's just amazing, and that I get to do this shit. I'm super lucky, and I just appreciate it. And I appreciate people like you that are out here helping us learn all of this shit from each other, because I like listening to what you guys are doing. And I don't know, it's cool. I like hearing other people's perspectives.
Well, we're absolutely stoked that you said that.
Aww.
And we'll do a part 2 of all of this when we come see you at the end of this month. How about that?
Dude, that would be fucking super fun, man.
You're
that would be really cool.
I might have a new car by then.
I know, because there's actually a car that's out there, so we may show up in a new car.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so broken on cars. I just don't even care anymore. I'm just like, dude, I know it's funny to be like this dude who does all this hot rod art. It's like, I don't give a fuck about building no more cars, dude. I busted so many knuckles and wasted gazillions of hours and every fucking financial problem I could have building cars and motorcycles and boats and bullshit. And it's like, I'd rather just have one that fucking works all the time.
That's the plan.
You know,
that's pretty much where we're at.
I'm like, fuck this. The only thing I've got that I'm about to be building is I'm about to be building a new print shop so I can get back to screen printing my own posters. Ooh. I've been having to job them out for the last couple of years because I sold out my print shop when I was doing all this building project. So, but yeah, man, you guys fucking come see me. I'm gonna fill your whole arms and car full of all kinds of stupid art goodies. And we got 7 dogs. So if you're into dogs, you got all the love you want. We got fucking chickens, and we'll send you back with a couple dozen eggs. We got the whole shit.
Oh, we're stoked about it.
Consider it done. We are there.
Come on, please come see us.
I might just go quit my job right now so I can wait for this all to happen.
Do it. Come on, bring it.
He got chickens. He got eggs. What's
We're
up?
done. We're done at that point.
You know, I tell people are like, oh man, are you sure we can come over? I'm like, motherfucker, you don't build a 9,000 square foot movie house and not have people come over and look at it and tell you how stupid they thought you were when you said you were going to do this. You know?
No, we look forward to that for sure. Dude, sure.
I saw a thing the other day, and I'm not really that much of a meme dude, but I saw this meme, and it was fucking so amazing. It made me laugh. Like, I literally LOL'd. You know what I mean? Like, I was fucking crying. And it said, you know, people aren't really proud of you. They're just surprised you keep making shit happen. And I was like, that is the fucking story of my goddamn life right there. Motherfuckers are like, man, I'm really proud of you. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're just surprised I fucking finished. You're surprised I got it to work. And I thought that was so amazing because that is probably the truest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life, dude. And it truly is. You know, I love it. But anyway, I didn't make that up, obviously. I just saw it somewhere, and I thought it was fucking perfect. But I will be using it often. I love it, man. But, well, thanks folks, again, guys.
Again, thank you for being on the show. And folks out there, you heard it on Rod and Style Radio. Stay wild.